Say folks, you're looking for something that's got the southern goodness, bacon, fried, everything in the world you want, throw in some pigskins to go with it. Best traditional cornbread you'll ever see in your life. Cracklin Cornbread. Stick around. Cracklin Cornbread. Yeah, you heard me. What's cracklins? Well, you know what cracklins are, don't you? You don't. Well, remember when we used to kill a hog on a cold day in February and everybody would come over, and after they had that hog scalded, they would throw that there rind in there and fry it? That's a cracklin. You never been to a hog killing? Well, I don't know what to tell you, but look here. Hog killing time has come to you. It has. A lot of folks say you need to boil them down. Why? I want to have some of that crunch left in there if it cooks. Now, I'm not putting big old whole pieces, or I'll show you in a minute. We're going to break them up a little. Now, there is two kinds of substance, well, really three, 1, 2, 3, that you can add to cornbread. What is it? Sourdough starter. We've talked about that in the past. We have whole milk and buttermilk. Now, my grandma and my mother, they made it with buttermilk. And that's the way I've always liked it. Thought it was more a traditional deal. I think you're going to get a more creamier texture to your cornbread than you do just milk. But Cracklin Cornbread, so let's get started. 2 cups of cornmeal. Now you can use any brand you want. There's a fine ground or a coarse ground. If you like a coarse ground, hey, go over there and get you some of that stone ground cornmeal they got in Pigeon Forge. It'll make a big old chunky piece of cornbread, it will. But I like to use a fine ground cornmeal. Then we added 4 teaspoons of baking powder. Then what are we gonna do? 2 cackleberries. Now, you got fresh ones? Whew, put them in there. Gonna make it even better. Now, about 1 3/4 cups of buttermilk. What makes good cracklin cornbread worth crackling? Well, starts with that bacon grease, it does. And one escaped crackling that run off the table. That hog is going to leave. Take 2½ tablespoons of bacon grease, and I just dump it right in here. I ain't using no oil, I'm using bacon grease. We're going to get all that flavor we can out of that hog. Then we got us about 2½ to 3 tablespoons left. Where does it go? Right in the bottom, because Shan likes things with some bacon grease on them. So I like to give that a good sloshing. We got it to that point. Some of them sweet little baby bell peppers diced up. Why do I like to use the sweet? Because we got plenty of salt in them hog rinds. We got the buttermilk. We didn't have no sugar, so we're gonna have about 4 of them chopped up, we are. Dump her right in there. Stir it up really well. Give it up. And you can see the consistency is a little bit more than pancake batter. The Dutch oven had been preheating. What comes next? Some of them hogs. Now I like to use about 1 cup, and I ain't breaking them plumb up. I'm just going to put them in there. Give them just a little mashing down in there. You seen me a while ago, didn't you? Frying up some of that bacon. It's going to go right on top. I ain't going to mix it in. You can dice it, you can slice it, but I like to just sort of just chunk mine up and throw it in there. It's sort of like a double bacon hog surprise cracklin cornbread. All we like now is what? Going to the fire. We put it in that 10-inch Dutch oven that had been preheated pretty hot. Got that bacon grease all mixed in. Tall trivet, cause that wind is blowing sort of out of the southeast today, so things are going to cook a little quicker than I might want them to. So pretty heavy on top, but I back the circle out a little. We will rotate quite often. Cornbread is the easiest thing to cook in a Dutch oven. Shan's gonna have you a link above if you need more help than this. We did a cornbread video earlier. Why do I think it's the easiest recipe to cook? Because everything you bake in a Dutch oven pulls from the outside in as it is near done on the bottom. Yeah. And cornbread is going to pull harder than anybody. So we'll rotate it, let her go, get that bottom set up good. That bacon grease is going to make us a crispy fry crust, and whoo, we're going to have cracklin cornbread. When we go to cooking, who show up? Buzzards. Yeah. Everybody likes my food, but they're maybe thinking that we're going to overeat and bloat and them cowboys are going to pass out, I guess, and they'll eat them. But you see me rotate that cornbread. Why? Because one side over here where the wind is blowing against them coals, whoo, microwaving. So we rotate more often when the wind is blowing. That frying action is taking place every while, so we'll just keep an eye on it and let her go. I think it's time to check it because I think it's probably beginning to set up, and we'll take it off there. So let's take a gander. Yeah, things are beginning to set up nicely, so let's take it off that bottom heat. Set her right out here. You can see how this is cracked across here, and when you feel it, it has sort of set up. Now, as the top begins to cook, that edge will pull in and separate some, letting us know that, whoo, right on the money, honey. You know, I had to rake them coals over to one side. There's a little spot I ain't liking near as much as the other side, so I am going to brown it up to call it even. Then we're going to take it out of there. Well, you can see, folks, it is separated well. Now, I'm not telling you it's going to jump out there 1/4 of an inch, but it will get about a knife blade in between it. It will turn loose. Feel of it, get that texture that it's setting up and it's firm. That bottom 96.3% of the time is done just right on the money. We took it off the bottom heat when that was reaching that texture that it was pretty springy and set up. Take it off there, finish cooking on top. We had to target a little heat there on one side to get us an even brown, but we're going to let it cool a minute, slice us some of that Cracklin cornbread, and whew, fine dining at its own. Whoa, see there? Crispy, hard set crust on the bottom, same on the top, bacon, got some of them little sweet peppers in there as you can see hiding all around, and I guarantee you when you get a bite you're going to get some of that crackling in there. I can see one right there. Folks, that is some fine cornbread, that bacon, them cracklins in there. Whew, it's got some bacon grease in it, top, bottom, throughout. That gives it a lot of that flavor. Now, folks, when you cook this cornbread, the reason you got that bacon grease in there and the reason you preheat that Dutch oven is to give it that instant flash to try to get this good crispy crust on the bottom. Now, if you was to cut a piece of it when you got through and think it ain't as crispy as you like it, hey, throw it right back in the oven on the fire, or just put it on a burner for a minute. Let it crisp up, then you're good to go again. This is some fine eating cornbread right here. If you want to do it in the house, Shan will have you a little conversion down there on the bottom. It's pretty simple as it is. Well, folks, we hope you learned something. Thank you for dropping by Mother Nature's Kitchen. It's another great day above the grass, it is. A lot of y'all been asking, you got them aprons? Sure enough, we do, folks. Shan got them in the store. They're ready to go. It'll make you cook better than me. You'll probably even look better than me when you're wearing one. So, like I say, we don't take it for granted you watch our videos. We appreciate each and every one of you that do. Be sure and tell your neighbors to tune us in. Hit that subscribe button. God bless you. See you down the trail. Huh? You need a bite of cornbread? Okay, what do you think? Huh? Is it good? Okay. It's pretty good. Do you need another bite? Just to make sure it wasn't the first one wasn't bad? There you go.